So I'm going to kick off this interview with a question concerning cultural diplomacy. How would you define cultural diplomacy, and what role do you think cultural diplomacy can play in promoting cross-continental cooperation, and what importance do you see in today's world in terms of cross-continental cooperation?
First of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you
Pleasure.
also for this very nice afternoon that we could spend together.
It's a pleasure.
I have not a humanist background. I'm an engineer. Then I have the feeling that cultural diplomacy is the next generation of international relation. Today, international relation in terms of the tradition is not anymore enough. One example is Europe. Europe is a great lab because we have 28 countries. Every day we needed to sit around the table, we needed to find a solution for a difficult problem, and we really create a new diplomacy that is based on the culture of 28 different countries. Then this is an important issue, an important education for the future. People, they need to respect the other, they need to respect the different culture, they need to understand that the world, one of the best aspect of the world is the diversity. The diversity has to be respected. This is for the first question. For the second question, please.
My second question concerning cross-continental cooperation, and it was about what role do you think cultural diplomacy can play vis-à-vis cross-continental cooperation?
As I said, the cultural diplomacy is important for Europe, but it's much more important for cross-continental relation. In that case, the differences from the cultural point of view are more strong, and I have the feeling really that it's difficult to sit at a table without to know the culture of the other representative. Then is a very interesting future from this point of view. We need to know, first of all, more about the others, and only starting from this point we really deal with difficult issues.
I will leave the floor to my colleague. She's probably going to ask another question.
Yes. My question is, as one of the senior directors of International Telematic University, please explain us the structure and the concept of the university as the first question. And second one, why did you initiate a master's program in international relations and cultural diplomacy? And why is this program significant? Also, what advantages do you see in adding cultural diplomacy focus to traditional view of international relations?
Yeah, first of all, the Untitled University is a virtual university in the sense that it is a university for long-distance education. The university started more than 20 years ago. First as a consortium of traditional universities in Italy, that we are not able to set up a long-distance education separately. And they decided to be together and to produce together contents that could be delivered by the university, the different university, in a different way. Then in 1999, in Italy, we had a big change. The big change was the centralized system, like we had before, was cancelled, and we started what we call the autonomy system. This means that each university can design a different curricula for the same degree. Starting from this point, the consortium was not anymore able to have a market for for their business. And the consortium was modified in a university for long distance education. This is the actual model of the long distance education in Italy. Regarding why we are interested in cultural diplomacy and in education in this field, because really we feel that the traditional education system for international relation is not anymore able to give to the young people the background to deal for the future, that will be more difficult, will be with more differences, will be more, in some cases, also more in a fighting way. Then we have the feeling that it could be very interesting for students coming from other countries, from our country, but also from other countries. And mainly, if we will be able to have a class with the students coming from very different backgrounds, because this is the basis for this cultural diplomacy. Then I have the feeling that it's a great idea, and it could be very, very nice for the future. It could be a great experience for students coming from all around the world. Here, I understand that we are 5 people from different countries. Maybe we can start here, able to talk about this culture and diplomacy.
Thank you. We'll give my word to
My following question, you actually already partly answered my first question, so I rather step to another question, to my second question. So do you think the availability of online education program will increase in the future, or do you believe students will be more compelled to continue with the use of more of a traditional universities?
I thought for a long time about the future of university. We had already what we call the first Gutenberg revolution. And the first Gutenberg revolution was the printed book. Before, the knowledge was transferred from one person to a few persons. And the center of the knowledge was the person.
You mean the person who write the book?
No, just before, because without printed book, the transfer of the knowledge was from one person to a reduced number of persons. With the printed book, we had the first step, the first revolution, because it was possible to enlarge the plethora of people. Today, with the internet, with the continuous connectivity that we have, it's possible to be really more democrats than in the past. And we have what we can call the second Gutenberg revolution. The second Gutenberg revolution means that you can reach everywhere in the world, and you can deliver contents at the same level or at the best level all around the world. Think about one of the best universities in the US, MIT. For a long time, was very difficult for students coming from all around the world to get a place, to get a seat in MIT, because the background was too different. Today, with the MIT, with the long-distance education system, with what they did, they provide the content to the students coming all around the world and say, look, if you are a good student, if you're able, you at the end of your study at home, you can be at the same level of one MIT student, and then you can compete for the next step, which means for the graduate study. Then this is the meaning. I think it's a great opportunity for that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my question relates to the standard of education in Italy and when comparing it with other nations in the EU and the US. So, as the former Minister of Education in Italy, how would you say the higher education system in Italy compares to other countries in the EU and the leading universities in the US? And the second question is, how does Italy compare in terms of equal access and availability to higher education?
I'm not really able to answer to the question directly, but I can say something in the other way. As he said before, I have a long experience on managing education and research institution. Then I also have a very large relation system with people working in this field, not only in Europe but all around the world. And from my university, we had since the beginning a good number of students. They decide to go abroad for Erasmus. Before was Socrates, with a double diploma for internship. Then many students from my university and also from Italy, they decide to go abroad. In my life, I never found a professor or rector or president or dean from one university that would say, look, Italian students are bad. Always they say Italian students, they are very high quality. Then I don't know if Italian system is good or not. I look the results. Someone will say, but only the best students they go to. Then I go to the other side. When the students from other countries, they come to Italy, and they come to our universities, they are not better than our students, because they are, if we compare the grades, maybe our students are better. Then I don't want to say if we have a good system or bad system. I want to talk only about results.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, the second question,
Yes.
how does Italy compare in terms of equal access and availability to higher education? Is to say, is the higher education open to all,
Okay.
or is it very selective to the best students?
In Italy, we have a system that we call a public system for higher education. Then in the public system, we have a state university and no state university. In total, we have 80 universities. 63 are state university, 17 are non-state university. This means that most of the university are state university. The students, they have, for the state university, the average registration fee is around 1,000 euro per year, 500 euro per semester. For sure, we have a family that they maybe don't have this money, and we have support for the students. We have a fellowship for the students, but in general, the Italian system is quite well socialized. Could be better, for sure. Then we needed to improve. But in the meantime, when you look at your phone like this, 1,000 euro per year. This means 3 euro per day. Maybe 1 euro is for the coffee, and 1 euro is for the phone, and another euro is something different. If we save this money and we invest for our future, maybe it's the best way to do it.
Yeah, thank you. I think.
Dr. Francesco, I have another question that was partly raised during your keynote speech, and it concerned employment in Europe. So, as a former Minister of Education, can you describe to us the current situation with regards to graduate unemployment in Italy, and how does it compare to Europe, to the European Union countries in general? And then I will add the second part of the question after I hear your answer.
Yeah, we as we know, we started this very strong crisis in the year 2007, and now we are 2013. This means that we have 6 long years of crisis.
Yes.
In these 6 years, the number of unemployed people in Italy increased. Today we reach, as an average, 12%. But in addition, we have that more than 30% of young people are without any job. That is really a big problem for the country. In the meantime, if we look at Europe in total in Europe we have 500 million people. The crisis is not in the same level, and we have countries like Germany, like the Northern Europe, where they ask for people with a good knowledge, good education. This means that maybe we needed to look at Europe like our big whole. In the past, we had first the small city, and then the region, then the country. Today is at least Europe. Then I have the feeling that we needed to change also in some way our attitude. In the past, we had a strong immigration from Italy, but most of this immigration was from poor people, not educated people, people that they had to go. Today, we have also a good number of graduate students that, for example, through the Erasmus program, they already have experience, or they had experience before. And for them, it's not so impossible to get a job abroad. If you get a job abroad in Italy, from Italy, in a country in Europe, you can move from one capital to another country, to Rome or to Milan, with maybe €100 with a 1 hour flight, and the constraints are changed, and we needed to face. For sure, it could be easier, better to have a job under your house. It's not anymore like this.
Thank you. My second part of the question is related to what you just talked about in Italy, which is the social system. You said in Italy you have a very good social system of solidarity, but also you said that's now it's becoming a problem because now you are paying for other people who cannot afford a living. And on this basis, because there is a dichotomy, there is a social system which is good, but also now it's becoming a problem. On this basis, how do you suggest Italy and Europe could, or what both Italy and Europe can do to alleviate the problem of graduate unemployment, not only within Italy and not only within Europe, but also within the neighboring regions such as the Middle East and North Africa?
Europe is facing this problem. What I feel, at least, that is almost impossible to replace the jobs that we lost in the last few years with the similar jobs. Because some kind of business are done, are dead. It's not possible. We needed to look in another direction. And Europe is going to this direction. It's going because since the year 2014, in addition to the European frame program that they call Horizon 2020, we have this what we call cohesion funds. The cohesion funds are much more, or maybe 6 times, if we relate it to the funds for the Horizon 2020, and 50% of these funds, they will be used for what they call social innovation. This means that each euro that will be invested in innovation, but the demands of innovation will be from the social side. And I feel this is the way to do, because the average age in Europe is increasing, because we have more needs of services, we needed to improve the quality of our life, and this is a great area where we can create jobs, we can create value, we can create a possibility for young people to get a good life for the future. And it's not easy, because in our mind we have a factory, we have some kind of services. We needed to imagine something different, something more evolved. This is what we do. But this is the best part of life, and we need to design something new.
Okay, I would like to conclude with a question. As a senior politician and academics, what is your message to the future generation of young leaders, youth?
The world is changing rapidly. What we needed to do is to invest our future. Try to get ourselves in the condition to respond for the next needs. I think it is difficult. because our education system is still designed for the needs that it was in the previous millennium. What we needed to do is to start from the education system to get people able to look for the future and to look for the future in the right direction.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank you on behalf of Institute for Cultural Diplomacy for these very informative responses. It was an honor and privilege to have you here with us today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And good luck.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, that was very great. But I really want to know this idea of social innovation. Do you think it is applicable in other regions from Europe, like outside Europe, like Middle East or North Africa?
For sure. When I was minister, I launched a call for social innovation for people with an age under 30, and it was a great success.
Okay.
I did something similar before with the students, just to get ideas for new projects, and we are really able to do this. We did it just only to stimulate. We needed to be, and I'm sure that also other countries they have the same capability.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Your lecture was very, very informative.
Yeah,
I
you
think
were-
a lot
it's
of
very
things
clear,
very
yeah.
explicit
Yeah.
on issues. I think
Thank you.
It's going to give you that compliment.
Thank you. Good. Good. Thank you.
I have
Good.
another quick question. I know cultural diplomacy for Slovenia, it's really easy because we don't have strong international relations, we don't have strong diplomacy, but for countries that already have like strong international relations, like strong diplomacy, what do they profit of cultural diplomacy? How do they profit of it? Do they even need it?
They profit because the world has changed. You cannot treat the world as it was treated before.
Even world powers like United States, France.
Yeah, look, I think they.
It looks
they
to me
st-
though,
Yes,
that
they still
the
fail.
bigger
huh?
countries, then they even need cultural diplomacy
They need more.
to make up for a lot of failures in the past and to strengthen relations.
And there's a lot of waves like anti-Americanism as well. So.
Yeah, I'm more of the sense that smaller countries, they need it because they don't have, at least we do, we don't have any other options.
But if you needed to deal with these new countries, you needed to know more about this country. This means you needed to know more about their culture that
Yep.
sometimes you don't know. Then I have the feeling that this is the key point. Huh?
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Thank you.